I know that many families are justifiably concerned about the return to school this September. This safe return to school plan that I'm about to share is meant to help alleviate those concerns and show the meaningful steps we're taking to keep kids as safe as possible. Our plan follows the structure of the provincial back to school planning template. It is based on information from the BC Centre for Disease Control, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, and WorkSafe BC. For links to the source documents, please see the written plan on our school website. Of course, no plan alone is sufficient. In order for our return to school to be safe and go smoothly, we'll need to come together as a community as never before. We must be diligent, careful, courageous, and understanding in order to make it successful. We must also be understanding and supportive of those who, for any reason, are not or do not feel safe to return to school. Although we may be separated physically by our current circumstances, we must be united in purpose and prayer for the safe and healthy reunion of all our school families, which is certain to come at some point in the near future. I understand that some families would prefer to delay the start of school and or continue to have the option to receive online learning until this pandemic is over. Unfortunately, the government has not allowed for this option and has clearly stated that families in this situation must register with a homeschool association. Please give me a call if this is something you're considering, and I'll help you with your decision. Please also keep the staff and students of Star of the Sea School in your prayers, and be assured of my continued prayers for your families. The first part of our safe return to school plan is changing how we do cleaning and disinfecting at the school. So just to reassure you, let me tell you, all general surfaces and floors will be thoroughly cleaned at least once per day. Frequently touched surfaces will be cleaned at least twice per day. That includes bathroom fixtures, toilets, light switches, countertops. All classrooms will have sinks. They'll have them installed in the spring, and they'll have visual reminders for proper hand cleaning for staff and students. All unnecessary equipment and furniture is going to be removed from the classrooms, both to maximize space for students and reduce surfaces that will need cleaning. Employees will disinfect shared surfaces and office equipment before and after each use. We'll have our janitorial staff cleaning the bathrooms thoroughly at lunchtime and in the evenings each day. Student desks are going to be the sole working area of each particular student. Other students are not to go near or to touch other students' desks or belongings. Student desktops will be cleaned as needed and always before and after eating. Our water fountains have been disabled, but students may still use the water fountain for filling their water bottles. Part 2 of our safety plan involves physical distancing strategies. Maintaining physical distance has proven to be an effective way to reduce the chance of spreading COVID-19. Although the return to school presents challenges in this area, there are important behavioral, physical, and systematic changes that can optimize physical distancing. So when it comes to student behavior, students will be instructed and frequently reminded that they are to maintain a distance of 2 meters whenever possible. Physical distancing is not always going to be possible within the classroom, and when students are not physically distant, they can still avoid physical contact with others and their belongings. Students will be reminded not to hug, high five, shake hands, or make physical contact with anyone in the school. Students will be taught and reminded to practice good respiratory etiquette that includes sneezing and coughing directly into the inside elbow sleeve, tissues used for runny noses, and students will be asked to wash their hands after every sneeze, cough, or nose blow. Another important physical distancing measure is the creation of learning groups. Students will work in learning groups and not work outside that group. These learning groups will generally consist of the students in a class, the teacher, and the educational assistant, approximately 30 people. Learning groups may be combined in special circumstances, but will never exceed the provincially mandated number of 60 people. Specialist teachers and school administration, since they're not part of a particular learning group, will physically distance from students and wear masks as necessary. Learning groups will come and go from their classrooms using the exterior doors to limit hallway interactions with students or teachers from other groups. We're going to have to change the way we do morning drop-off. Staff members will supervise the parking lot and the school field beginning at 8:30 a.m. each morning. Intermediate and primary students will enter the field from separate entry points, where students will be led to line up at designated spots for their class. Once everyone's lined up, the students will be led single file, one class at a time, through the exterior doors of their classroom. In the event of rain, students won't be made to line up outside, but will instead proceed directly to their classrooms through the exterior doors. Staff members will be on hand to ensure physical distancing. Now, this morning and afternoon pickup and drop-off will be reviewed once it's been tested for about the first 2 weeks of school. If we find that physical distancing is not sufficient, more stringent, though time-consuming measures may have to be put into place. After school, we'll do the same routine, but in reverse. Students will come out at 2:45, and their parents will come to the fenced area of the field, where their students will then be sent over to them. Any students not picked up by 3:15 will have to be brought back inside the school and wait physically distanced for their parents to arrive. Please just come on time. We're also going to be changing recess and lunchtime to encourage physical distancing. Instead of the whole school going out together, we'll split the school in half. Half of the school will go out from 10:15 to 10:30, and the other half will go out from 10:30 to 10:45. Second recess will be from 12 noon to 12:30 for half of the school, and 12:30 to 1 for the other half. There will be supervisors on duty whose responsibility it will be to remind students to avoid physical contact with their peers and maintain 2 meters distance as much as possible. Some other considerations. Just a reminder, students will almost always be using the exterior doors and pathways rather than the interior hallways to avoid hallway congestion. Common rooms, such as the learning commons, the staff room, the photocopier room, the lobby, will all have occupancy limits with signs posted saying how many people are allowed in each room at a time. Parents and visitors will only be permitted into the building with special permission and only for very urgent reasons. There will be visuals throughout the school encouraging social distancing, respiratory etiquette, proper hand washing, as well as directional arrows to help students avoid crashing into each other in the hallway. And as always, for now, I should say, there will be no gatherings of 50 or more at any time. Part 3 of our safety plan is symptom assessment. While specific diagnoses are left for medical professionals, students, staff, and parents can help reduce the spread of COVID-19 by being alert, diligent, and honest. Do not take chances with possible symptoms. Take the time to check yourself and your children daily for signs of infection. At the school, the staff will be trained on self-health assessments, and they'll each sign a document stating that they'll do these daily. The staff will be trained on recognizing the symptoms of COVID-19, and if any symptoms are reported to or witnessed by a staff member, the student or staff member with the possible infection will be sent to the office for assessment immediately. Parents and students will be informed of daily health checks and will be reminded on a regular basis of the need to complete these on their own at home. Visitors will be required to complete a health check, to sign in, and to provide contact information. If anyone does show signs of COVID-19, the office staff will follow the Ministry of Health procedures to the letter. The fourth part of our back-to-school plan involves hand hygiene. Hand hygiene is a simple but essential part of reducing the risk of COVID-19. While the school will instruct and remind students of proper hand hygiene, these lessons begin and are reinforced in the home. Please help us by teaching proper hand hygiene at home. All classrooms have a sink now, and there will be visuals for proper hand cleaning procedures at every sink. Students and staff will be required to wash or disinfect their hands many times throughout the day, including whenever they enter the building, before eating, after using the washroom, after sneezing, coughing, or blowing their nose, before going home, and whenever their hands are visibly dirty. Parents may choose to send their child to school with their own bottle of hand sanitizer if they wish. Another part of our back-to-school safety plan regards personal protective equipment, also known as PPE. PPE can play a part in reducing the risk of spreading COVID-19. Masks, face shields, and physical barriers will be used at school. Masks have been mandated for use by students and staff in common areas where social distancing is not possible, for example, in a crowded hallway. We'll do our best to avoid those situations altogether. Reusable masks have been purchased for every student and staff member in the school. Students and staff may choose to bring their own personal protective equipment if they wish. A plexiglass barrier has been installed at the front office. Also, each staff member will have access to a portable plexiglass divider anytime they need it. Every staff member also has a face shield provided to them. Their use is optional and dependent on circumstances. The use of masks is a personal choice within a learning group. This personal choice will be respected and accepted, whether you choose to wear a mask or you choose not to. The only circumstances where you'll have to wear a mask is when you're near someone who is outside of your learning group. In these cases, it will not be an option. The sixth part of our return to school safety plan are improvements to our ventilation system. Upgrades have been made to the ventilation systems in all of our existing classrooms. Each classroom has a new filter and, in many cases, an entirely new furnace. In some cases, we will move activities outdoors. Hallways will be used as seldom as possible. Instead, students will be encouraged to move from one room to another via exterior doors and pathways. This way, they'll get to enjoy the fresh air just a little bit more. Part 7 of our back-to-school plan is staff training. The province has allowed September 8th and 9th to be used as staff training days. On these days, we will cover such topics as reviewing the updated COVID-19 information from the BC Centre for Disease Control, reviewing WorkSafe BC protocols, reviewing hand washing procedures, recognizing the signs of COVID-19, reviewing the school's pandemic action plan, giving instructions to teachers on the cleaning products and protocols for their use. We'll run through as a staff the morning and afternoon pickup and drop-off routines. I'll answer their questions. We'll take an assessment of our understanding, and every staff member will be asked to sign a document to acknowledge their training and their understanding of the work done that day. Part 8 of our back-to-school safety plan is planning for the event of a school closure. In the unlikely event of a school closure due to a local or provincial outbreak of COVID-19, the school will use Google Classroom in grades 5 to 7 to resume regular class meetings, assignments, and assessments. The school will use Seesaw in grades K to 4 to resume regular class meetings, assignments, and assessments. Google Meets is our school's online meeting platform. I want to emphasize, teachers will be provided with clear and high expectations by administration on the amount and timing of each type of activity. Students isolating at home will be sent classwork via in-person pickup or drop-off, email, Google Meets, Google Classroom, and/or Seesaw. Students will routinely check in with their teachers. Now, this only includes students with a medical requirement for self-isolation. Students in this situation will require a doctor's note. Unfortunately, the provincial government has mandated that schools are not to operate online schooling for families who just wish to stay home at this time. Families who do not wish to send their children to school but do not have a medically justified reason must register with a homeschool. Please consult with me before making this decision. Finally, I want to reassure everyone. Part 10 of our plan is planning for students with diverse needs. There's no change planned for the delivery of programming or services to students with diverse needs. All students will continue to receive the support outlined in their IEPs, and remain within their class cohorts. Personal protective equipment may need to be used to ensure the delivery of these services to children with challenges. So that's the back to school plan for Star of the Sea School. I'm really looking forward to September and getting to know you and your families. Keep an eye on the school website, your email, and the news as things seem to change rapidly during these times. Take care.